All right, in this video, we are going to cover the directions or an overview for the course projects. And so you are actually here on this page, and you have a link here. It's not there yet, but it will be there to the page that I'll be using for most of this video. And it's actually the next page after the Ed Puzzle. So the best thing to do is just, if you're on a Mac, Command and Next. I have no idea how to do it on a like a PC, but if there's a way to, and I know there is, click this and open it in a new tab. I suggest you do that so you can look at everything at once. All right, so let's look at what this assignment is about. Now, there will be one more required video, which will go over the interview portion. And then there will be short videos for each of the written sections of the paper. This is just going to be a broad overview to give you an idea of what you're going to be working on so that you can start thinking about it. So this project is what we call a psychosocial interview and analysis, where you will be conducting an interview with someone of another racial ethnic group, and we will cover that in this video, how to find that person. And then you're going to take what they discussed in their interview with you and use the content we learned throughout the course to apply it and analyze that person's experience. So this will require some research, critical thinking, academic writing, and the use of APA citations and references. It is not due until the end of the course, and we do work on it in a few stages, but really it depends on your time management to get this done by the end of our course. You are strongly encouraged to get help from campus tutoring. There is a link here for tutoring for more information. That you also have the ability for me to review your assignment, your paper, and you can request a paper review or project review on the Meet with Professor O page by scheduling a course project review meeting. Okay, so the formatting. Like I said, it's going to be an APA format, and I know not everyone is familiar with APA format, so you have a template that you will be able to use. Most of the subsequent short videos that you'll see down here will be going over what's on the template. So we will look at it briefly in this video, but I'm not going to go into depth. You cannot use anything other than APA. I want you to have a basic understanding of APA, and you have a lot of support in this course, in this assignment, for using APA format. In addition to our textbook, you will need to locate 4 other academic sources, and I'm going to be a little picky about the kinds of sources you get, so you do have another page that discusses how to find the sources. I do not want to see Wikipedia, encyclopedia, no date, no name, website resources. Those are not academic and scholarly sources. And since I'm only requiring 4, well, most papers that I see you guys writing are requiring like 10, I'm going to be picky that they are from academic journals. If you have no idea what a journal is, you need to visit this page as soon as you're done with this Ed Puzzle to learn about what academic journals are. Peer-reviewed sources are preferred. Sources or articles written by scholars of minoritized communities are preferred. I know you can't always tell, but when you can, please choose that over something else. And if you are having a lot of difficulty using the library or the databases, please make sure to see a librarian. You do have a link over here to ask our librarian. You can set up a research appointment to get help. There's a link here to drop in tutoring. Now, if you hit this link, it goes right to their Zoom, so just forewarned. Okay, these are the sections, and like I said, there is a template. It already has it all set up in APA format, as a whole bunch of like additional sort of direction, guidance, things to think about, tips are on this template. And so, like I said, we'll go over those individually. The next big part we want to talk about now is the interview. So we are going to have another video on how to conduct the interview, but the person you're going to interview is one of your tasks for this week. So I am going to open up that assignment page so we can talk about identifying your interviewee. Now, although this looks like a quiz, it's really not a quiz. It's just a way for you to submit the person that you've selected to interview. And this is a place where some students have some difficulty, which is why I made the assignment this way. It kind of forces you to provide me the information I need in order to approve the person you're going to interview. So the individual can be any person. It can be your next door neighbor, someone you work with, your mom's friend, your teacher, someone at your job, someone in your car club. Like, it can be literally any person. It can be someone else in this class. However, they do have to be from a completely different racial group than yourself. And for some people, this gets a little tricky. And so we're going to go over some examples. There is a chart. You'll remember this from like one of, depends on where you are in the course, but this same chart or similar chart was in, I want to say, chapter 2. The easiest thing to do is to look at the chart and find your racial ethnic group. So let's say you are Native American. The person you interview cannot be anywhere on this line. They cannot be Native American, American Indian, or Alaska Native. They cannot be First Nations. They cannot be any other different tribe. They cannot be someone that, well, you grew up in Madeira, they grew up in the reservation, and so you're different. No, for this assignment in this course, if you're on this line, then you can choose someone from any of the other lines. Okay, so here's some examples in case that was confusing. If you are any of the Latino, Latinx, Latina, or Hispanic ethnic groups, you must interview someone who is African American, MENA, that's Middle Eastern, North African, white, Native American, or Asian. So it can't be, well, I grew up here and my boyfriend grew up in Mexico, and so our cultures are different, but we're both Latino, but we're different, so I'm going to choose him. No, that doesn't work for this assignment. Now, that could completely work for some other assignment and would be a great cultural comparison, but that's not what we're doing here. Here's another example. If you are any of the Asian or Pacific Islander ethnic groups, and there are a lot, and they're very diverse, you must interview someone who is Native American, African American, MENA, white, or Latinx, Hispanic. So if you are Hmong, you cannot interview someone that is Indian. If you are Japanese, you cannot interview someone that is Filipino, because all of those fall into this group, Asian Pacific Islander. All right, the last one is multiracial. If you are multiracial, it does get a little more difficult for you because you're basically eliminating multiple races or lines from who you get to choose from. So if you're multiracial, for example, you're Black and Latinx, then you have to choose someone who is Native, white, MENA, or Asian. Okay, so if you're multiracial, just block off whichever ones you are, and then choose someone or find someone that fits into one of the others. If you are not sure, send me a message on GroupMe and say, I am whatever you are, and the person I'd like to interview is, fill in the blank. Is this okay before I submit it? All right, so let's look at how you submit this, because it's called a quiz, but it's not really a quiz. You're going to get full credit if you do this, like pick someone that meets the criteria. So let's just look at it to make sure. All right, it's taking a minute to load. Okay, so again, it's just going to give you sort of a little overview of what we just talked about and the chart. And then the first question is to identify your racial ethnic group. So it's a drop down. You just choose the one you are. Do not choose the last box. This helps with the points, and the points will be hidden, but there's no wrong answer. So just do not choose that one, please. You'll definitely get 0 points then. So choose what your group is. Then the person you want to interview, same thing. You're going to choose what they are. Now these two need to be different. In question 2, you're just going to write a brief statement about why you selected this person. I chose this person because it's my roommate and I know I'll be able to find them and conduct the interview. I chose this person because it's my neighbor and he's really funny. You know, whatever it is, just why you selected this person. If you're having trouble finding someone, get on our GroupMe and say, hi, I'm, your name, and I am, Asian. Is there anyone in the class that doesn't have a partner that would like to pair up with me? That's not Asian, right? Okay, so you will be able to find someone. If you or your interviewee is multiracial, you're going to put the specifics here. If this doesn't apply to you, just skip it. I'll obviously award you the points. This is just so I can use the quiz formatting. So if you are multiracial, or if the person you're interviewing is multiracial, you just want to give me the specifics. I am white and Asian. The person I'm interviewing is Native and Latinx. Right? Remember, none of them can match. And then you'll just hit submit. You can take this as many times as you need. Take this. You can fill it out. And remember that there is a grace period. So while it's due during a certain week, I'm accepting them through March 3rd. You do need to find someone by that time so that you have plenty of time to schedule and hold the interview, because inevitably someone gets busy or someone decides they don't want to do it, or you decide you want to choose someone else, and this provides you with enough time to make that happen. So please make sure you get your person by the beginning of March. Okay, I went back to the directions page. And the next question most people have is about the interview. And so there is a completely different video just covering the interview, how to record it, how you're going to upload it and submit it. All the requirements for the interview will be covered in another Edpuzzle. All right. I want to talk briefly about the analysis section because it is worth 80 points, and this is where your sources that you choose are going to probably have the most impact. The analysis section is a total of 4 paragraphs. 2 of them are on required topics here, and you'll be able to see just very brief sort of introductions to examples. The other 2 topics you have to choose from this list. You don't do all of them, you choose to. Now, some of them have examples on the template, some of them don't, because I wasn't going to write on all of them. Makes the template too busy. You choose 2. Now, which 2 do you choose? You may have an idea going into your interview of which 2 you'd like to choose, and then after you have the interview, you may not get that information or enough information. So be open with this until after you conduct the interview, which is why I want you to do that part first. Because your interviewee may talk a whole bunch about social movements and change, that they were involved in all these protests and all these groups, and they've done all this advocacy work. And you may not even have known that, but you've got a lot of info then for this section. You might choose that. If you go into your interview saying, oh, well, I want to write about this, LGBTQIA+, but then your interviewee doesn't want to talk about that at all. You don't want to have done a whole bunch of work and then not have the information from the interview to support it. So go into the interview open and then select the topics after that. The topics you select will be needed for you to find those additional sources. And so this is just all a big plug for getting the interview done as soon as possible. Yes, you do not have to submit the interview until like the beginning of May. But if you wait that long, you're going to be putting a lot of work on your desk right at a really busy time. So the sooner you can do your interview, like before spring break, the better. All right, I'm going to stop it there since we're almost at the 15-minute mark. You will see the next video for the interview portion, and it will be on the page after the directions. Thank you so much.